Okay, when you picture one of the most successful investors on the planet, what comes to mind? Probably chaos, right? A frantic hustle. Well, that's the Hollywood version. The reality of Warren Buffett is so completely different, it makes you question everything you thought you knew about what it takes to win. And trust me, the secret is not what you think.
See, the myth is that Wall Street wolf, surrounded by monitors, barking orders into a phone. But the reality? It's a guy in a quiet office in Omaha, Nebraska. His calendar is almost completely empty. He spends something like 80% of his day just sitting, reading, and thinking. There's no motion, just total silence and, well, inaction.
And this brings us to the core paradox here. How on earth does a life of doing almost nothing lead to some of the most staggering financial results in history? The answer isn't some kind of magic gut feeling. No, it's a deliberate system, and it's built on a really powerful foundation.
So, before we can even get into what Buffett does, we have to understand how he thinks. It all comes down to this simple idea he calls the inner scorecard. This is like the operating system running in the background of his entire life. To explain this philosophy, Buffett uses this fantastic, kind of provocative thought experiment. He asks, would you rather be the world's greatest lover, but have everyone think you're the world's worst lover? Or would you rather be the world's worst lover, but have everyone think you're the world's greatest lover, right? It really forces you to decide what actually matters more, the reality of who you are or what everyone else thinks about you.
And that is the absolute core of his inner scorecard. He's not looking for your approval or Wall Street's approval or anybody's really. His success is measured by his own internal set of rules. This mental independence is his superpower. It's what lets him completely ignore the hype and the panic of the crowd. Okay, so once that foundation is set, everything else gets built right on top of it. Buffett's next move is to pour all his energy into what he calls the single greatest investment anyone can ever make, an investment in themselves. So what does that investment actually look like in practice? Well, it starts with this number, 500. 500 pages. That's what Buffett reads every single day. And we're not talking about news articles here. We're talking annual reports, thick biographies, economic history. He says knowledge builds up just like compound interest, but almost no one is willing to put in the slow, kind of boring work to get there. But it's how he reads that makes all the difference. He's not just collecting random facts. First, he's building mental models, a library of patterns in his brain. Second, he reads like a predator, scanning for the one or two key insights and just ignoring all the other noise. And third, he immediately connects what he's reading to real-world decisions. He's always asking, so what does this mean? What mistake happened here? That's what makes the knowledge actually stick.
Investing in yourself isn't just about reading, though. It's also about tackling your weaknesses head-on. And for Buffett, his biggest weakness used to be a really crippling fear.
I mean, he was physically sick at just the thought of public speaking. So what did he do? He paid $100 for a Dale Carnegie course. He says that one investment completely changed his life. It boosted his confidence, helped him sell his ideas, and even gave him the courage to propose to his wife. He argues that getting better at communication is an investment that pays you back more than any other.
Okay, so once you've made that huge investment in yourself, you have to protect that asset, right? This is where that famously empty calendar comes into play. It's not laziness, it's a strategic fortress he calls the bandwidth rule.
I want you to think of your brain like a battery with a limited charge every single day. That's your cognitive bandwidth. For most of us, our workday is designed to drain that battery. Meetings, emails, office drama. By 3 p.m., you're running on empty. Buffett, on the other hand, ruthlessly protects his bandwidth. He keeps his battery near 100% for the only thing that really matters, deep, high-level thinking. And this leads to one of his most powerful ideas. He says in the world of true capitalism, a packed calendar isn't a sign that you're the apex predator, it's a sign that you're the prey. An exhausted mind doesn't look for freedom, it just looks for comfort and distraction. So what happens when you combine that independent mindset, a brain that's been compounding with knowledge for decades, and a fully charged cognitive battery? Well, you get a system that produces absolutely incredible results. Let's look at how this all actually translates into his famous investment moves. See, a clear, rested mind can cut through all the complexity and boil it down to simple principles. He's looking for a few key things, like pricing power. Think about a company like Apple. They can raise the price of the iPhone and people still line up around the block. That's pricing power. He also loves businesses with low capital needs. Companies like See's Candies, one of his all-time favorites. They don't have to spend billions on R&D just to stay in the game. And this is the ultimate payoff. When the markets inevitably crash and the entire world is freaking out, the rested mind doesn't see chaos. It sees a clearance sale. Because he's running on his inner scorecard, he isn't swayed by fear. Because his cognitive battery is full, he has the energy to think clearly. While everyone else is panic selling, he can step in, see the whole board with perfect clarity, and make his best moves. So what's the big takeaway for us here? The entire system, the mindset, the learning, the protection, it's all designed to do one thing: preserve your most valuable, irreplaceable asset. Ultimately, it just boils down to this: the rested mind wins. Not the busiest mind, not the fastest mind, the rested mind. In a world that is literally designed to steal your attention and drain your energy, the person who can protect their ability to think clearly has the ultimate unfair advantage. So that leaves us with one final question for you. I want you to really think about your own day. What's the single biggest strain on your cognitive battery? And what's one small, deliberate thing you can do tomorrow to start plugging that leak and start taking back your mind?